Okay, let's kick this thing off. Mic check, mic check. Should be able to hear, see the screen, all that. Mr. Blue here, TradePhantoms.com. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Big day, big week. Hopefully, everybody's having a good one. Today being Thursday, the 31st of July, last day of July. Tomorrow, new month, end of the month. Make sure you're closing your monthly candle bars, etc. Big week. I'm sure if you're in this business and in tune with this business. We had Fed announcement yesterday. They held as we prepared at Phantoms. Markets took a drop. Markets rallied back up. We hit a level. We'll talk about. I'll talk about that a little bit there. Also have Microsoft and the big names earnings. Big earnings week, right? Earlier in the week, PayPal, Visa, Starbucks, so on and so forth. PG. Just laying out a couple of big names there real quick. Meta, Microsoft, of course, owners of the world. Robinhood, Carvana, Qualcomm, big ones there. ARM not doing much, but right now to keep it short and sweet, big talk right now. Okay, Meta, Microsoft, just unbelievable, just blowing out earnings. AI, $30 billion investing in AI from Microsoft going forward, and the cost there. So the bigger get bigger, I guess, right? So conglomerates. We'll get to the charts, of course. So hopefully people took advantage of that. We spent a lot of time yesterday in the live trade room with Fed, and I wanted to get to Microsoft and Meta earnings at least at a minimum. Tried to get to that. The session kind of ended. Couldn't manage to get into an extra session with the group, but I'm hoping that some Phantoms members, they're talking about buying calls on Microsoft, getting a little bit more bullish there. I wasn't trying to look to short this thing. I am taking advantage of some Meta and Microsoft, bullish there. But I didn't really give it out to the team as much there, so I'll just keep that there. But I do, own this Meta stock in my long-term portfolio. It's publicly noted. Microsoft as well. Not as much. I got more Meta than Microsoft, but long-term portfolio is looking good. All-time highs. You'll see that in a moment. However, we're not done. We got Amazon and Apple today, Thursday, after close. Okay, Mastercard as well. It goes on into a couple more of the Mag 7. We got two more out of that Mag 7. Today. So we'll see. Interesting, right? We shall go to, I'll start this off a bit more formally here, just so we can, no matter what, we always want to just go through our process, right? Yesterday, we did some really good prep work in terms of that Fed announcement, mapping out plans, whether it goes up, whether it goes down. And I'll get to that. And the reason why we did that is we went through what's called a top-down multiple time frame approach and looking at institutional levels of demand and supply. So you'll notice that S&Ps, NASDAQ yesterday, especially specifically the S&Ps, swiped down very quickly. It hit a fresh level, prime level of institutional demand, okay, put it in the bottom and ripped right back up. And we prepped that level to a T. Great teamwork yesterday, as mentioned, right? But here's today. We got to do today, right? So you'll see a lot of orange, yellows, and blues on my chart. Has to do with color coding of certain time frames. Here's a quick little checklist. End of the month, right? So make sure you're mapping out how your monthly bars are closing going into August, okay? Typically, seasonality-wise, not always. Please don't hold me with a grain of salt here. Hold me to it. Okay? Hold it with a grain of salt. Going into August and September, typically a little bit more of a slower month seasonality-wise for the indexes. So keep that in mind after this week of mega cap earnings and the Fed already out of July. Okay, there's no meeting in August. Going into September, October, December. Okay, in the last meetings there. So kind of closing up the summer solstice as you see, and getting into that September, October, if you will. Just keep in mind that markets do tend to calm down just a little bit there. All right, but we're not there yet, right? So show goes on. Weekly is going to be a weekly yellow color code. Daily is going to be blue color code, if you will. Candlesticks, a bunch of fancy names, bullish. Location and context being most important. Bearish candlesticks, a bunch of fancy names here. Knowing when to look at the proper ones in the proper locations and context are more important. Liquidity map, super important there. If you know this, you got it. Putting it on the higher time frames, drilling down to the smaller time frame to refine it. You know what side to be on and how to exit and enter the market, hopefully appropriately. Okay, using risk management on top of demand and supply, institutional that is. All right, cool. Should we short SPX? Oh man. Even yesterday, anybody who chased short yesterday into that level of demand is getting destroyed. So, just be careful with that. I've been mentioning with the team. I haven't been mentioning to short this market for, that hasn't come out of my mouth, man, right? So since like April and March, give or take, right? So just be careful, because this thing, yes, we are high, okay, but the market can just continue to go all-time highs. They can just go higher, right? They can just spike up. Look at Microsoft, and look at Microsoft, all-time highs, all-time highs, all-time highs. Just when you think it can't get any higher, right? They blow out. They do some kind of earnings there. And they're adaptive. They adapt, right? Just when you think it can't go, it's already up 25% for the year. So you think like it could really go up last night? You think you're really going to go up about another 8-9%? No way, right? That's too high. Well, it did it. It did it, right? So I'm sure there's some people who are crazy who are trying to short Microsoft. Not even just earnings. Take earnings out of the equation for a moment. If you're still trying to short this monthly, weekly, daily up, and one of the strongest stocks in the planet, just be careful with that, right? Now, one structure of level of demand has been broken out for quite some time. In fact, it's kind of getting a little freaky here with this. I will admit, I've been doing this a long time. That formation is, I don't even know what to call that. All right, that's just straight to the moon. All right, so just be careful. Now, some people are like, "Oh, so should I short this now?" Though, no, right? Chill out, right? That this will come down and potentially mean revert. All right, but this is why I always say, try not to, work one side. All right, try not to just get out of your longs if there's no reason to, because that market can just continue to go pop, 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 as you can see here with mega cap. All right, I will move on though from that. I will kick this off with futures as I usually do. Right. So let's do that. Did I just click the? Can y'all see my screen? Hold on. All right, I think I'm back. Okay, I think I'm back there. Oh, I see what I did. My bad. I digress. Okay, we're back. We're back. There we go. That's 25 seconds. We're not going to get back in our lives there, right? Let's see. Futures. S&P daily time frame on the left, NASDAQ upper right, Dow Jones lower left, Russell 2000 bottom right. Russell 2000 literally doing nothing. Dow Jones literally doing nothing. Parties with NASDAQ and S&Ps. That's where I'm at. Okay. So open up the daily time frame of S&P futures. I know there's a lot of lines here, blah, blah, blah. Okay. But these lines are important because these are levels where institutional level demands are hitting. Right? Referencing yesterday as well. We'll drop down in a moment here. Riding that 20-period moving average, higher, high, higher, low. Inside kind of weeks here, one or two. Right? Basing is okay. Base break, great. So here we are. All right. Yesterday being Fed day, we opened up. Here's Monday. Here's Tuesday. Here's Wednesday. Of course, here's Thursday. Okay. Monday, Tuesday pulled down a little bit there. Good. Nothing crazy, right? Normal kind of pulled that, down 2 days. Nothing too crazy. Didn't break any structure. Okay. In fact, what happened is we set up some daily lows here. Okay. From earlier part this week and just latter part of last week with some daily lows, and we broke those daily lows. Okay, and we came into a fresh intermediate level of impulse. We had a nice breakout segment right there, and that's where we looked at the 63.77, which has been on the board for a little while now. And even in the midst of the Fed announcement yesterday, we swiped down below that. Swiped down below the daily lows, and those Globex lows came down into 63.77. We had kind of planned a couple levels down here. Came to the first level, just went blink, putting that bottom there, and next thing you know, we just ripped up to the upside here. Again, I just continue to say, be careful with these moves down. Traps. We're still in a bull market, okay? And coming down to a level of demand, don't get trapped, don't get swiped. And there you go, boom, pop up, S&P's new high next day, right? NASDAQ, virtually the same thing here. Didn't get quite down into, because tech is a bit more longer now, of course. A little more weaker, a little bit like a week or two ago, give or take. But with mega cap earnings coming up, just blowing things out of the water here. So of course, NASDAQ is taking a bit higher, made a new all-time high, of course, over the night, as you can see. But yet again, yesterday, right, we swiped down a bit here. We did have a gray level right there. I was hoping that we kind of swiped down a little bit more lower on the NASDAQ, but the S&Ps, we caught that first level there. Okay, and then the rest is history, right? Boom, ripped it back up all day to close a green bar yesterday. Okay, then we have even some fall through here today. Okay, we'll drop down the smaller time frames in a moment to map out what's called our Globex traps. And if you don't know what a Globex trap is, you better find out. Okay, because it's very powerful. Okay, we set the stage every single morning in regard to that, and we teach that in what's called a focus class specifically in part 3 with the futures course there. Okay. So that said, we'll move on here. We got the monthly here, weekly here in the middle, daily here, monthly, weekly, daily. No matter what, even if you're short-term scalping said futures, okay, or options, or even stock, you want to know where you are in the higher time frames, no matter what. All right. I'm also going to drill down, just showing you the lay of the land. 60-minute time frame here, 1 hour, right? 30-minute here, followed by a 5 here, and a 2-minute time frame here on the right. I'm going to pop open the 60-minute time frame. Why? Because it's kind of an intermediate time frame, and here's where we can kind of drill down some structure here, right? So just real quick before I delete this, all right, for my Phantoms team, if you want to kind of take a picture of this, you could, because I have to update this. So with the live trade rooms that we operate, or at least myself that I operate at Phantoms, I like to kind of keep the pre and post work, so you guys and girls, traders, can see the process, okay, as we plan it, okay, and then see the post analysis as it happened, whether it worked out or not, right? Could be a stop loss, right? So on and so forth. So if my Phantoms members want to take a picture of this, I'm trying to work on getting the we talked about this last night in the evening class. I'm trying to get the whole session kind of maybe downloaded, and I did a brief recap of the Fed day yesterday, of the trades that we took kind of in the live trade room, a quick one, right? Kind of a quick little recap there. And I'm going to see if I can upload that in the bonus files at Phantoms folders, right? And the Phantoms membership. So I'm going to work on that in the back end. All right. Matter of fact, I'm not sure if I remember if I took a picture of this myself. So give me 10 seconds of your time. I might have already did this, but just in case. Let me just park that in here real quick. Hold on, folks. Apologies for this. Just checking, right? Just making sure I got this saved here, right? Okay, done. Okay, so for example, yesterday real quick, we had a Globex high, Globex low. It was kind of rangy. Kind of working on the day, kind of got long a little bit here, right? TP some. Hopefully, I'll manage to TP some. We had mapped out a level above, mapped out a level below. I'll get to the SPX in a moment. We're going to move forward too as well for today. Okay, but long story short, here we swiped below these levels that we kind of had mentioned. Okay, came down into that 63.77, which has been here. We mapped out like a level A, B, C. We kind of planned an A and a B. We couldn't even make it to the C level to plan yesterday, but look, hindsight now, we didn't even need to because it just hit that first level of A at 63.77, putting that bottom there, and then boom. All right, right back up. And again, look at supply here, all-time high. What I've mentioned, Phantoms members, right? Okay, yeah, you see a level here, but we're still in an overall uptrend here. Okay, still in the macro time frame. So again, yeah, watch out for those swipes. Okay, below daily lows, below Globex low, into a level of impulse basing impulse. That is a fresh level of institutional demand. Okay, that was impulse basing impulse. Pop out right there. You got to trust those institutional levels. Boom, boom, right there. So even in the midst of VIX spiking and the Fed and Jay Powell talking and all this kind of stuff, okay, just trust the process. Trust the process. Great. Moving on. That was yesterday. Here's today. Carpe diem today sees it. Here's the new Globex high for today. In Thinkorswim, it creates that space out there for us. Here's the Globex low for today. Where are you? 16. Jeez. Just kind of down here. But I'm going to use this. There's a little bit of a gap right here. So I'm going to use this right there. All right, high and tight. And the strategy is, okay, if we break a Globex low, do I have an institutional level demand below? Okay, and basically that was the last one that we hit yesterday, coming in there here today. So could we still reference this 63.77 here today, folks? When price hit there, did it stay there for a long time and then move up, or did it just tap there really quick and popped up? It tapped there really quickly and popped up very quickly. Okay, so that's letting us know that there's really strong demand there. Okay, so we could use this as a reference point again for potentially today. If I were to drill down below that Globex low, I mean, really, there's like a little baby unfilled gap right there. So you might want to put that on your radar here for this morning. Okay, comes in at 6425 S&P futures here. Sean Callahan, my guy from Phantoms here, asking on Instagram, hey brother, question, do gaps on futures usually fill? I know options mostly do, but futures more often. Yeah, I mean, usually they do. This is a little baby gap right here, nothing too crazy here. But yeah, this is a high probability of filling here. And I'm using that kind of that close and that open right there. Here's the I'm using that as a Globex low. So indeed, right there, right before I even saw your question, it looks like I was about to just answer it naturally, organically. So the answer would be yes. So I'm going to be actually using that gap fill, Sean, right, today, potentially as a potential little sneaky G trap at 64.25. Does that make sense, my brother? And my man Sean Callahan is growing to be a really good trader. The progress is unbelievable. Well, he deserves it. He works, man. All right. Money Mike, biggest fit day I ever had. Congratulations, brother. You deserve it as well. Valuable member 2, Phantoms. The guy knows the deal. Training traders, dudes and girls, and people that really want to learn this, right? The right way. All right, that's something that I'm looking at. Now, this is kind of up here. Screechy voice. This is kind of up there, so I will make a little asterisk here, meaning that it's a little aggressive. Okay, a little aggressive. All right, we have to watch out because, we are up a little bit here, right? We could kind of fade lower. That VWAP, average VWAP went whoop. So that's hilarious there, right? So if I'm looking, now I have to be careful here. If I drop down to damn, there's nothing here. That thing just went straight up, right? Bull market, y'all. Okay, so if we don't even get back down to 63.77, which I'm going to be referencing, there's a little sneaky guy right there. I kept this little gray, not prime level. You probably can't even see that great space out there. A little sneaky guy right there comes at 63.85. If you wanted to get a little bit sneaky aggressive down here too. This is S&P futures, by the way, G-Trap. All right, and I'll keep that note there. You might not be able to see that. I'll make that a little bit brighter. All right, so a little something there. Something there. Comes at 63.85. All right. So we'll see. I mean, that's pretty much what I got here, right? So we broke these little level of supply. Not surprising one bit. Broke that. Already retested it on the other side, and we're just kind of hovering here, right? All right. So again, we could come lower again before we go higher, right? So always make sure you're setting up and being patient with the tape. What's going on, Super Dave? Yeah, Sean, that would be a daily gap fill. We do NASDAQ real quick. Time is just going by very quickly. 23 minutes before the open. So much to cover. NASDAQ a little weird. It just base. Oh, it did just really quickly. I had this level grayed out right here. Multiple tests. There's the Globex low from yesterday. It was the prior day's low. What they do, they swiped it real quick, came down into this level that wasn't even that great. Okay, for the record, I didn't take advantage of this level here. I took that S&P's, SPX, so on and so forth, some SPYs. Okay, hopefully I took that down yesterday too. When I get to the trading view, I'm getting excited. But so let me calm down. I'll get to the trading view charts in a moment. I get excited. I love trading and investing and doing it all my life. I'm never going to stop. But as you can tell, that level worked out, right? So again, if you want to take a quick picture of that, Phantoms members, hurry up, do that. All-time high got destroyed. Okay, so again, short. So you're just continuing to get up. So just be careful. All right, there's a quick picture if you need. Okay, now the new Globex high is here. Globex low. Use that. Again, a bit of an unfilled gap here. No objective level of supply above. We could have a fade lower. All right, but here's kind of a G trap aggressive. And like I said, there's pretty much almost nothing. I already know there's going to be a rally-based rally right in here because I just know. All right, close there. This is a bit aggressive too right there. 623, 460 handle NASDAQ. All right, this would be less aggressive, so I could take that out. All right, there's our NASI there. You know, this level has been tested so many times. Still worked out yesterday. I was kind of hoping that a little bit of a fresh impulse basing impulse with that new high right there. That's still on the board at some point in the future, potentially 23,265. Not sure we're going to get down there today. All right, but you know, just updating data here. Okay, 23,662. Watch out for that. It's a little aggressive there. Got that note there, aggressive. Okay, and then I got 23,460. Just yesterday's kind of a, you know, big drop. Came into the second that level here. Okay, flipped right here, blink, pop, new high. So I got that 23,460 hovering down there too in regard for a G trap, a bullish here, as we potentially could break the if we were to break down a little bit here below that low back low represented by that blue line right there. All right, so hoping that makes sense there. All right, gotta push forward. Bucket says on YouTube, it's 63.75 has been hit so many times. Assuming they're talking about S&Ps. So if I go back to 6375, which is that level that we were looking at yesterday. So what I would recommend watching some of the recordings that we did in the past. But if you notice, remember, folks, I talked a little bit about this, right? So we had like impulse correction, right? This was once an all-time high right here, right? Okay. And we pulled back. Obviously, we kind of swept over here, lower. Okay. But this is a new higher high segment breaking out of this box range right here. Okay, so if you see right here, this gray space, I just switched over to the dailies. Okay, I don't have a lot of time to talk about this right now, but in case you have we have rally up, and then we have a couple of inside weeks here, 1 or 2 inside weeks, weekly in the middle here, weekly high, weekly low. We just kind of sideways here, not making new lows, not making new highs. But then all of a sudden we popped up. Okay, all of a sudden we popped out, and this popped out of the daily basing. Okay, right on the 20 PM moving average base breakout, and see this line that this little dotted line. You probably can't, so I'm gonna exaggerate this line here. So hopefully you can kind of stick out. Okay, I'll make that like a bright yellow, so maybe that kind of sticks out a bit more. Okay, so I want you to focus on this yellow line right here. We got an impulse basing impulse on the daily time frame, and if you kind of make this out too, you have an impulse. There's a bit of a basing right here on the daily. There's a little small body range bar right there, inside bar, right? Impulse, basing, big pop out. Does that make sense? Okay, so again, that popped out into a new high. Focus on that yellow line, if you will. Okay, if you will. Now, yesterday we pulled back into that. Okay, 63.75, because bucket's like 63.75. It's been hit so many times. But listen, watch this. When I have this basing, this impulse, this impulse, okay, it left a rally, a basing, and a rally, an IBI right down over here, okay, down into this area, okay, into 63.50s, 60s, and even this area here at 63.70s. Okay, so that's why I had an A, I had a B, I had a C, because it was kind of 3 levels here within this breakout segment, okay, on the daily time frame, on the higher time frames. So therefore, now if I go to a 60-minute time frame, kind of drilling down, if you will, okay, that gray box now represents, again, that daily impulse, basing impulse overall on the day, now breaking down to 60. So remember I said focus on this yellow line. This is the breakout new higher high segment here, okay? So that made a new higher high, okay? And now this didn't happen yet, right? All of this didn't happen yet, okay? So there's that new high, okay? So we had what? Notice how as we broke out into that new high, okay, we had there's the pivot low. We don't know it's going to break out yet, but now it's broken out. And what it left was what level of control here? That's C, which we'll notice in a moment. We had a drop base rally right here. Okay, that's still inside of this whole daily impulse segment here. That's level B. And then we had a what? Impulse basing impulse. And this was the impulse last fight that popped out and actually initiated that break out. Does that make sense? Okay, that level right there. Okay, that's the bulls and the bears fighting, and the bulls popped it out. Okay, and there's a impulse basing impulse right there, and put a proximal line right there at 63.77. Now, after that pop out, have we got back down there yet? Not yet. Okay, rally back up. Have we got back down there yet? Nope. All right, new high. Right there goes our breakout. Beautiful. Even more. Have we got back down to the 63.77 yet? Nope. Okay. Now, markets over the past couple of days. All right, on Fed, Monday, Tuesday, before Fed, we kind of dropped down a little bit. Even somebody had asked me, I'm not saying this in a bad way, Mr. Blue, did that break trend or be in a downtrend right now? I said, be careful. The 60-minute now is making a bit of a lower high over here, but are we still in a monthly, weekly, daily up picture? Is the daily making lower highs? No, the daily's still making higher lows, and indeed, we're pulling back down into some levels of demand on the last breakout segment into the daily time frame. Okay, right? Does that make sense? So we had level A, level B, level C, preparing for Fed. Okay, so that 63.77 bucket, and I'm not trying to be weird here, but that was not tested. That was not tested at that time. Up until yesterday was the first time back at 63.77. Does that make sense? Does that make sense? Okay, so daily impulse basing inside weeks, inside days. Finally have a breakout here on this breakout segment. Okay, we're going to want this makes a new level in control. Now that breaks out, I want to look at the typically it's like 2 or 3 typically levels that are going to give us some structure. Okay, inside of that breakout leg. Okay, for fresh levels of demand where the buyers beat the sellers in terms of that formation of an IBI. So we had 1, 2, 3 ABC. A was fresh and prime, waiting for that. As you can see over here, this stuff over here was all tested, right? So like this rallied up, came up, this level got tested, rallied up, this level got tested again, rallied up, then we pulled back down, this tested again, rallied up, then this came back down, tested again, breaking a little bit there. Okay, does that make sense? So it needed to fish out fresh prime level of demand, henceforth that 6377. Okay. Somebody will still say, Mr. Blue, you don't do futures enough. All right. And we took advantage of that, right? Hopefully, y'all took advantage of that. Okay, got to move on. Great question, though. VIX. Well, I guess while we're just on that little topic real quick right there, let me put the SPX here. What is going on here? Look at the 4 hours, pretty clean. If you look at the 1 hour and 30 minute, it's pretty clean too. It's clean. There goes that level right there. If you want to take a quick picture of this, Phantoms, I didn't delete the work. I know it's kind of weird and messy here, but if you want to take a picture of it, this is the post analysis. Okay, right? We had that impulse, 63.77 G trap level that we planned, impulse basing impulse. All right, the rest is history. Yesterday, right? So hopefully I took advantage. Right, took advantage of this. Had levels planned here. Had levels planned down here. Caught the bottom. Right, not trying to be a hero here or anything like that. It worked out. Just to go through the process. Hopefully I took advantage too of the other tactics that we talked a little bit about. It was a little annoying yesterday because we had levels of at 6,400 where I was looking to buy some puts. We had what's called a positive gamma node up here. We also had a positive gamma node down here. Yesterday was beautiful in the fact that we had positive gamma above, positive gamma below. 63.40, 63.30 was a massive positive gamma node above, below price at that time, and we had a massive positive gamma node up here at 6,400, 64.20s. Okay, so so I had levels planned up here. Managed to get out of some of those longs, ended up getting stopped out of some runners on SPX as we didn't get up. We didn't get those orders filled, but I'm hoping that as you learn at Phantoms, pull that VWAP at 2 p.m. That's that black VWAP right there. Just on a small time frame, pull the 230 VWAP right there. That's when J Powell takes the podium. All right, did a quick little pop, come up into last week's high, which is there, which we already kind of broke up there. I was hoping that it kind of got up into 64. Okay, but they ended up snapping. Okay, making a new, snapping. Now we're below all these VWAPs here, weekly, daily, and Fed announcement. Fed J Powell. Then we snapped, made a massive negative CFG. VIX started as a spike. This is where I picked up the 63.40 strike put. Okay, it was like for $2.15, $2.20 or something like that. Okay, $200. That thing printed because this all had negative GEX below here. Okay, so we were talking about how we want to attack this negative GEX below price. So the plan was if we rallied up into the level or we kind of broke down below some VWAPs, attack that negative GEX because price can just sift through that. Okay, that's a deeper concept there. Then we had that level of institutional demand that we just covered in the S&P futures, and it was also fresh and prime on the on SPX and SPY. And in addition to that, we had that positive gamma node there. That positive gamma node. Okay, so my Phantom members know this, so hopefully I took advantage of that. Okay, and then I had to liquidate, right? I had to liquidate some of those puts, 63.40 printed. Okay, so that was the VWAP breakdown here. Well, 220 was what I got. I didn't even take these up to 12. I think I got these up to like 9 or 8 or something like that. Okay, and then I picked up as planned. Where is it? The where is it? Did I delete it? No. I picked up the 63.70 strike call for like $1.60, and it popped up to like two, three, like I got like two something off of that. So, anyways, worked out good there. Okay, might not always been like that, but yesterday was pretty cool to see how everything kind of panned out within our plan. Let me just take a quick snapshot of this. You stopped out on the wick, Emmanuel. No, man. I hate to hear that. We got to move on, though, from this. We're going to push forward here. All right, enough of that. I did 0 DTE. Busy week, so much to cover. All right, SPX still has all the notes on it from yesterday, so I wanted to do a smaller recap of the Phantom. Yesterday was a big day for that. All right, so moving on here, SPYs. Going to be gapping up, new highs. So weekly on the left, daily in the middle. Okay, just simple 2 minute on the right here. Yeah, so yesterday's close, right there, gapping up here. Pre-market quote 39.77, right? 639.77 handle. So we're gapping up about what 0.8%, give or take. That's SPX implied open, give or take. Just a quick measuring tool here. Just to keep it simple. You can't even see 0.89%, give or take. So implied open at or around, give or take 64.10, 64.15s, so on and so forth, give or take. If you are long, and if you did manage to do some longer dated options, this would be a good time to TP some off this new high tag here, right? If that makes sense. So I say 64.15s, 10s, give or take. I say that to say this. Options depth. I'm going to zoom in here. Kind of within the expected range. This is advanced here. Let's see where today. So we're about 64, about 15-ish, give or take. So today we have a bunch of positive gamma nodes. Well, not a bunch, decent. A little bit of some tros here. All right, so watch out for this. It looks like there's a credit spread here. 64.45, 64.50 is going to be some kind of wall up here. All right, positive gamma node. Some light GEX below. Okay, folks. Light GEX below. So 64.10, 6400. This is all light gamma and GEX. Light gamma, right? So if we break below, if we can't get above 64.25, 64.30, give or take, okay, and we kind of grind lower, there's not a lot of positive gamma below up until or down until we get to the 63.80. Okay, 63.80. Got stopped out of August 1st expiration 64.20 calls on SPX yesterday. Man, y'all getting stopped out and scared of these spike blowers, man. You got to learn how to hold those. Y'all saw me. I'm saying this humbly speaking. Hopefully, Aiden, right? I want you to get better, brother. Right? But folks, have you seen me sit on right? And if it was your plan to get out and the loss, you got to take it, right? But remember, folks, you cannot get nervous on these swipe lowers on these. This market is a bull market. It's gonna try to entice people like on these big moves down just really quickly. Okay, and these like 1 hour bar swipes, 2 hour bar swipes coming into a level of demand. You got to trust that process. Okay. So it's all good. Just learn from it, chalk it up, right? But this is why I've been stressing so much, man. Try not, don't. I know it's high, but it can continue to go higher. So if we're not breaking structure, follow the process, stick to the process, trust the trading plan, trust the levels, and deploy, right? So just journal it up. You'll get better, okay? But noteworthy here, write this down. 6-3, well, at least pre-market prep wise, that this could change this, of course, as we open up, as traders open up more positions and close positions. 63.75 is where we have a gamma node below price. Okay, 64.50 is a positive gamma node above. Those are the bigger ones that I can say a little bit more as a wide range. Be careful, okay? If we cannot sustain above 64.20 and we start to drift a little bit lower, okay, there's negative GEX, or not such a negative, but a little bit of a low or not a lot of gamma below that area. So price could actually drift a little bit more lower below that. Okay, so I'm going to mark up 64.50s. I'm going to mark down the 63.70s. And okay, and you can see there's a lot of stuff in terms of open interest down here at that 70 handle. Okay, so that's set on SPX. And I just have to delete some things here. And so much to cover. I can't get through everything. The price of knowing so much with never enough time. Stocks, futures, options, forex, day trading, long term. It's a lot. It's a lot. Okay. Anyways, moving on here. Just going to map out this 50 handle. Positive gamma here. And what we say, 70. Decent positive gamma node for now, pre-market prep, down here at the 70 handle. All right, so you got to know options. You got to know the market maker hedging profile. It's a pretty advanced concept there. Not for the weak. So if you're weak, it might not be for you. And that's okay. So it's going to be based on market maker exposure pre-market. This is going to provide some demand lower. This will provide some supply higher. Watch out below the, where does that kick off here? The 10s, 64.10s, that is, with a potentially negative GEX land. Potentially, yes, we're going to be gapping up a little bit here. All right, so it'll be interesting to see how they work on the 64.10s and 6400s. We have an even number here at 6400. So if we start to break down below 6400, there could be a bit of a negative GEX land, if you will, here. Yeah. 1 ounce of theory got my head cracked on LS. Man, how are you getting your head cracked, man? These markets are fall. Come on. I need to hear success. Come on, folks. Demand and supply. VWAPing. Do as you trade. It's all right. Chalk it up. Not enough time. Damn it. Guys, the beast can't wait to be done with my internship so I can get back into business 2 more weeks. Ryan. Hey, Ryan, what's going on, man? My guy. Hopefully you're well, brother. Hey, thank you for that comment. Appreciate that. SPX open and print there actually went up above there. I am nowhere near the amount of prep that I should have been doing here, but it's just been such a busy week this week. All right. I do have to just take a moment to holy shit, Meta. I got to take some profit on Meta and Microsoft long term. I'm actually going to sneak out of a little bit of some Amazon as well. Give me a moment, folks. I got to do this now. You're not going to hear a ding. I'm on the TradeStation web here. There's Amazon. This is Meta. And I want to snag some Microsoft here. All right. All right. That was we took a little time away from some day trade prep, but got to do that. All right. Quick peek at internals really briefly. Didn't even go over VIX. That's a crime. Straight to jail. Advanced declines below the negative mark, not extreme, negative 592. It's nothing crazy there. Extremes would be positive, negative 18 to 2000. Volatility slightly lower, just a little bit here. And just update this. Arm gap down, Meta, insane. Amazon gap down. Amazon gap up, failure. Let's see, Broadcom. Let me see. Actually, this is a bit advanced, but potentially look to sell a bull put credit here off this earnings. Tesla trying to creep there. Yeah, Aiden, liquidate a little bit there, brother. Indeed, sir. Indeed. All right. Just TP'd a little bit out of the long-term portfolio myself, right? Take a little up, all-time highs, realize some gains there, and if let's say September, let's say Nvidia pulls back by 7% at some point, right? Just we accumulate a little bit more, right? So I was wanted to. What was I looking at? Where's the 15? So I'm not going to be able to. I'm going to lose a lot of folks doing that, and that's a little bit more advanced, higher risk. AVGO is the only one that's trying to hold a bid there, but I want to be a little cautious there. I'm trying to break down a little bit. We do have wide range bar open here. Let's be patient on this. Amazon tonight. Keep an eye on this. Man, I gotta take. I mean, I got something on Meta here. I wish I just did the bonus session with y'all yesterday. I got something on Meta. Take these. Holy smokes, Meta, man. All right. I'm not seeing nothing popping out at me here. WDC. Somebody put that in chat. Western Digital. That's trying to fall through there. Not sure how quid the options are. I was trying to break down a bit here. All right, so I'm squeezing some long puts here on some SPYs. Take a peek at Tesla. It's kind of doing it's kind of sneaky basing there. should be already long some puts here. Long some puts, some spies. This thing is too slow. Come on, pick up some spies. Make some at the monies. And I think this one's fun. So I'm just gonna go over here in my other account. I think this one's annoying shit out of me lately, man. I think this one's fun. So I'm going 0 DDE spies. 638 to going for a $1.57. 638 strike put, going for a $1.57 here, give or take. All right, 638 strike. This restream bullshit really pisses me off sometimes, man. Crashing out. All right, I did lock this in. Slow motion. Tesla. Yo, come on. This thing is slow. All right, make sure we TP some here. This is brutal. Carvana. Carvana 400. All right, you can TP some of these SPY puts here. The restream software is when you stream multiple things, it's slow. Whatever. TP some Microsoft. Microsoft. But yeah, TP some Microsoft. If you caught that, a lot of things in my brain. Let's see here. I'm gonna work like this. Yes, Aiden, post earnings. That thing dropped nicely. Grab some. Indeed, sir. Starting to activate that. Indeed. All right, folks. I like to work fast and move fast. This thing is literally like I clicked it and I'm already like my brain 3 clicks ahead while I'm waiting for this thing to catch up. So kind of annoying, but trying to stick through here. I've been starting to stream on some TikTok Studio, so you know, want to catch me over there. You can follow me. I think it's Trade with Blue. I can't go live until a certain amount of followers. Apparently, I'm hoping that it's not as lagged as this. I'm just going to start to TP some more spies here. As put premium about it, I'm trying to update as much as I can. So slow. Man, I like me some Tesla. It's at VWAP. I'm not really liking that formation yet, and the daily time frame is just so in the middle. You know, I got some contracts that carry over right now from 2 days ago, give or take, that are down a bit. Just some runners, but you know, it's just like the daily and the weekly time frame. If you look at it, it's like dead smack in the middle of the range. Literally, last week, 3 weeks ago, VWAP, and last week's VWAP, and this week's VWAP right now is like all at the same price right now, 320s give or take. So it's like completely hard to see where Tesla's potentially going to break out. It's kind of in the middle of multiple things, unfortunately. It's 4,100. It's crazy. It's the end of July. And if you look 2 months ago here into May in Tesla monthly over here, still last month was an inside bar. Even this month, inside bar, notice these monthly bars are getting even smaller. It's getting pinched. You see what I'm saying? See what I'm saying? So Tesla's going to get interesting. Whichever way it's going to break out. But stay tuned. Stay tuned. Stay tuned. Literally like hovering on the 20, 20, and 20 on across monthly, weekly, and daily. Amazon. Literally, because I got some stuffs here. Man, it might have could have changed the tax bracket with that one trade. It did not change my tax bracket. Amazon, looking decent here. And Broadcom. Yep, spies a VWAP. It's decline slightly improving, nothing crazy. All right. All right, so this is where you try to add to long puts with a keen eye on it in the event that we snap. So just be careful with that, right? So you don't want this would be the low risk ad, but it's about to get violated right now, so we have to be cutting these soon here. I'm going to lock in some Amazon long calls here before I do that. Let that kind of potentially grind out there and have to cut that SPY. This is why I stressed the TP some there a couple times there. Get popped here a little bit. Let's potentially try to be back on the dock. Come on. Try to get long call Amazon, folks, okay? I might even just look at something for earnings, too. I haven't closed above VWAP yet, so we're just tagged on VWAP. You have to be patient, folks. Be patient, right? All-time high Amazon Bezos is what, 240, 242 handle, give or take, 242 handle. EM 15 points. I got my eye on the video too. I don't know if Amazon is going to do. Amazon has a bit more challenges with tariffs, but I don't look too much into that stuff. I'm going to cut these SPYs. Cut these. Cut out SPYs. Killing me, Smalls. Too slow. Flip long here. Get long SPYs. This is not it anymore, man. This is too slow for me. This is brutal right now. Apologies, folks. 640s. Is this fell? I don't even know if this fell in this account. Watch out for range. Let's see. Wow, what a book today. 30 based on gamma. This is sold call spread here. Anchor 6430s, 6440s, the classic SPX creds. So there's negative GEX below here. So could not really sift through a lot as much on that negative GEX. We got a little bit of pop here, so I flipped. So let's see if we can get attraction to this 6430, which is about 15 points up in here. All right. So pin that 6430, 6440s on your charts on SPX. VIX on lows, cumulative tick at ADD line, still below zero, but improving a bit there. Right, so let's see if we can do that. There's nothing above supply to lean against other than options and Fibonacci extensions, so on and so forth. BB, Bollinger Bands out here. So is that gamma node there, right? When I say, oh, it's fucking brutal, man. Come on, give me my. This is brutal. I gotta go because this is bad. I can't be cussing up here on YouTube. Oh, got a fast computer, everything. I don't know this restream thing. Trying to work here, we all faster here. Let's snag some SPX, but I don't want to chase that too much. What is happening? It's so backed up that I'm clicking it and it's closing what I'm doing because it's so backed up. All right, I'm gonna try to just work on something here. I'll give you all a little something and then I cut this. We're approaching that 40, give or take. If you wanted to snag the 6440, it's going for about 290 there. But I'd want to limit into this because can't chase too far up there. Internals are not so insanely. I don't even know what's going on anymore. I don't even know what click this computer's on anymore. All right, I don't know. Yeah, this Mr. Blue. If you want to learn how to have technical difficulties, go to TradePhantoms.com. All right. Kind of odd, but this is just not good. I don't know why. Maybe just reboot the computer or something like that. It is killing my vibe though. Yeah, as you can see. I got to reboot, folks. I apologize. There you go. So there's something here, right? So I got to reboot and restrap here. So apologies on this. Now it is on YouTube. This typically is not the case in the live trade room because we're not restreaming on multiple streams and platforms and things like that, right? So, anyways, if you want to learn a little bit more about this, TradePhantoms.com. We got some members in here, right? Here with the group. Careful with this. Be careful on a little bit of a range here for today. Okay, just like a digestion day, if you will. Okay, so make sure for my phantoms who are trained, you know the deal. Make sure you're pulling your VWAPs, making sure you wait for candles to close. Okay, make sure you analyze those demand supplies. Don't chase. Be patient. Etc. 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 If you want to learn a little bit more about this, okay, July 31st being today, 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, name, email, click on, put your phone number, click on that attend right there, register. You'll get sent the link. Mr. Black, Mr. Green, one of the two, or sometimes both of them will host about a 90-minute kind of class, if you will, kind of take you from the top down of kind of what Phantom is all about and how professionals trade. Myself, Mr. Blue, Mr. Green, Mr. Black, I'll come from the professional side. Stocks, futures, forex, options, even crypto. Okay, short-term trading, even long-term wealth management. Right, as I'm paying out some long-term share wealth that I've owned and publicly have been mentioning to Phantoms for a long time now. Okay, like Meta. Okay, so on and so forth. Trying to also day trade and kind of swing trade in the middle here too. So everything, right? Even some scalping on all markets, right? So that said, I'll see some of y'all Phantoms members later today. Thunder Thursdays. Apologies for the slowness. See if I could try to. There's nothing on this computer. There's nothing on this computer at all. Just a couple of pictures and a couple of platforms to download. That's it, right? So, anyways, I digress. I'll see some of y'all later today. Trade safe. Be safe. If you made some really good money over the earnings or yesterday's session, don't give it all back today, right? And I'll be with y'all, God willing, tomorrow morning for my Phantoms in the live trade room. God bless. Take care. Blue out. Coin. Mark Wahlberg, my man.